Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We are so happy to be back with Matthew John, a spiritual teacher and intuitive who remembers his divine service work and why he came to the planet. And today we're going to be talking about how we can step into our service work on Earth. Hi, Matthew. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
This is a good topic because I would say that in the past 2 years, actually, people have really this past year, more than even the year prior, more and more people are saying, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? I really feel the need to get going with something, but I don't have a clue. So share with us more on how we can tune in and tap into this inner guidance to do our service work on Earth.
Yeah, you're right. More people have been asking that question more than ever. It's a product of, the worldwide experience we've been going through the past couple of years, and people, having a lot of changes in careers, and also just people questioning whether they're on the right path when they have, had a little bit of downtime around their career. And then that, of course, combined with the spiritual awakening that is, of course, accelerating on this planet. And as we move forward in time, it's picking up pace more and more people are starting to have their first awakenings. And, shortly after the first awakenings, a lot of times people start to ask those questions of, not just, okay, what is this all about, but is there a purpose to what I'm supposed to do while I'm here, in the physical body? And is there a specific thing that I'm supposed to do? Is there a role for me? Is there a job? Is there a career? Excuse me. So it's a question that you're right. So many people are asking more and more nowadays. And I wanted to present a new teaching today where I was downloaded this concept of the 6 archetypes of the service worker on the planet. And I'll be curious to see, how people on today's call resonate with, one or even maybe 2 or 3 of the 6 archetypes. And it really may help you kind of understand yourself better and understand the type of work that you really came here to do, whether you're a starseed or whether you're not a starseed. We can get into that as well. But I really want to help people get a bit of clarity today. And we'll do some readings as well, right?
Yes, we will be doing some readings. We'll get through to as many as we can. We've already got some hands raised, and this is wonderful. So, all right, 6 archetypes you've identified. Go ahead and share those with us. We were excited to hear.
All right. Well, we'll give the lead off the top here. So I've identified the quiet grid worker. The quiet grid worker, if you feel like you might be the quiet grid worker, you may not end up in a position like myself. You may not end up in a position like Loren. You may not end up in a very public position that ends up being the vehicle for your service work, for the divine work that you meant to do here as a soul coming in, or as we could say, as a starseed coming in. The quiet grid worker works in the background. The quiet grid worker sometimes is retired. The quiet grid worker sometimes works at a job that on the surface, it doesn't appear that there's this super spiritual orientation to it. I don't know. They could be working at a supermarket. They could be working at a train station. They could be working at some sort of administrative office job, right? They could be working anywhere. But what's happening is that they're doing their service work through a lot of times their hobbies. Maybe their hobbies are art. Maybe they spend their time enjoying nature, enjoying animals, right? Maybe they like to do a lot of meditation work, and that's really where they're doing most of the work. Maybe they enjoy taking part in spiritual groups, like the types of groups you or I present as options for people. Um, it's a kind of more in the background work, but it's very, very necessary, because not all people are meant to serve in a very public role, either in career or just in the context of service work. So if you feel like you might be the quiet grid worker type, more working in the background, right? Your spiritual work is done through meditation. Your spiritual work is done through prayer, maybe, for the world. Maybe walking in the woods, you feel this intense connection with nature, and you feel this intense connection with spirit, and you feel like you're really doing your work there. And what does it mean to be a grid worker? Grid worker means to be someone that is transmitting energy through their vehicle into the earth grids. Now, some people are doing that where, literally like where you are right now. And then some people end up being more travelers, more physical travelers, excuse me. And that's where I get into the second type, which I call the traveling grid worker. And yeah, Ann David says, that's me, the quiet grid worker. Yeah, great. The traveling grid worker is somewhat similar, where your work is not necessarily in this kind of very easily visible role for the world, yet you are in a specific roles or specific jobs, or just life for whatever reason is carrying you to different parts of the planet. And that is by necessity, because by being carried to different parts of the planet, whether it be through the military, whether it be through your job, whether it just be because you love to travel, you just love to travel, and you have the opportunity to be able to travel to different parts of the world. And being that traveling grid worker, that is a soul contract as well, where we could say these are all soul contracts, where you are meant to be in different places around the planet at different times. And as such, you are there to be, essentially your vehicle is necessary to transmit light codes, to transmit codes into the grid. And also you're absorbing codes from the grid and then carrying those codes, transporting those codes to other places on the planet. So if you have traveled a ton, right, in your life, you may be one of these traveling grid workers, where it's not where, here's the distinction. It's more about the travel itself. So it's more about the places that you end up being at on the planet versus the role that you serve that gets you there, right? Now, sometimes there'll be, of course, a cross section here, and you could be a traveling grid worker, but you could also be what I call a leader. A leader, I would say, is a position that I found myself in, that Loren has found herself in, where you are, for whatever reason, God, universe, your soul has given you the opportunity to kind of be in front of a large group, okay, whether it's in person, online, both, and having the opportunity to present work, information, teachings, guidance, energy, etc., to a very, very large group of people. And it doesn't have to be very, very large group of people. I shouldn't have said very, very, just to a large group of people, more than 2 or 3 people. Okay, so having the opportunity to be in front of people, to be presenting work, to be presenting what you are receiving, to be presenting other people's work, etc. I call that archetype the leader. It's as if there are all these millions and millions of these leaders around the planet that have groups, some are small groups of followers, some are very large groups of followers. And it's a different paradigm, though, than it used to be. It's a different paradigm, though, than the age of Pisces. We're in the age of Aquarius. In the age of Pisces, it was the Indian Babas, right, that people would follow and would really devote themselves to. Of course, that whole paradigm of devotees is still there. It still exists. And some people, choose that path and enjoy that path. But it's not as relevant anymore, that path of devotion. And it's more about guideposts. The leaders are not, they're not doing it dogmatically. We're not telling people where to go. We're not telling people what they need to do, what they need to be. We're simply presenting ideas, presenting information, right? So that to me is the leader archetype. Loren, again, I feel like you're, that leader archetype. Was your mic muted?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
No, it's great.
Okay. And I understand if you don't feel like the leader archetype.
No, but thank you. I mean, I guess maybe that's just my humble self, actually.
I mean, I don't see how you couldn't be. And
it doesn't mean what? I'm a one soul path number. So of course, who are you? Aren't you a soul path one?
Yeah, I'm also life path one.
So yeah, we're leaders. Yeah, we're leaders.
Okay.
I get that.
All right. Yeah, I was a little surprised that you kind of felt like you rejected that a little bit or didn't.
No, I'm just kind of thinking. I'm just kind of playing humble right now. That's all. Yeah.
I mean, let's look at it realistically. There are hundreds of thousands of people that find spiritual knowledge and spiritual resources through your platform. It's a huge platform that we're on. It is, and to me, that is that archetype of that your soul and you as a starseed wanted to be in that position. It doesn't mean it has to be. It doesn't mean it has to become something of ego at all, right? Maybe that's a distinction that maybe that's what you felt, but to me it's just something that is God-given. It's soul driven, it's like we can't, if it's a part of who we're supposed to be on the planet, then we can't avoid it. Essentially, it's unavoidable, right? We're not choosing these archetypes as the ego. We're choosing these archetypes as the soul, and so they're going to unfold no matter what. Now, as I'll say, you don't have to just be one of these, right? You can be multiple of these, and you might be the traveling grid worker as well, right? You absolutely find yourself on different parts of the planet, right? And your vessel is meant to interact with different parts of the planet. The fifth archetype that I wanted to present is the innovator, right? And the innovator is someone that is meant to either bring something new to the planet, something novel to the planet, or is meant to tweak something that already exists on the planet and make it into something that is either better, more efficient, more aligned with the new Earth principles of not harming the planet, right? And as such, they are going to be downloaded. The innovator is going to be downloaded this stuff through their consciousness. I look at these really cool new Earth, like new medicine sort of things, like Jason Shurka's work, for example. Any of the scalar energy type work, the types of the orgonite creations people download through, and the giant pyramids that people create to meditate under and receive energy, the harmonic egg, like all of these things. To me, that's that innovator archetype where they are and most of these people are really, and a lot of them realize it, is they're bringing in extraterrestrial technology. Essentially, they're bringing in extraterrestrial technology. They're downloading that through their consciousness, right? So to me, that's the innovator. and let me know if you feel like you might be the innovator. And it doesn't mean you had to invent something, or it doesn't mean you had to like already put your energy on something and twist it into something better. But perhaps you you have this strong feeling that you're going to, for example, like I have a lot of clients that they tell me they just have this feeling. They just have this feeling that they're gonna invent something, right? And they will. I know they will. So that's the fifth archetype. The sixth archetype is the shadow worker. Now, the shadow worker is perhaps the most interesting archetype. They're all very interesting. The shadow worker, your service work comes through diving into the muck. It's not something you would design. Usually, if you're the shadow worker consciously, you wouldn't have consciously said, oh, I'm going to spend years in addiction, or I'm going to spend years, growing up in this toxic family, or I'm going to spend years, working around these people that have been, hurt really bad, right? The shadow worker, you're intending, your service work comes through working amongst the shadows, bringing light to the shadows, right? So people that they feel like, oh, they don't understand, why is it that I have always, it seems like these other people out there, are not in as bad of a position as I am. They didn't have to grow up the way I grew up. They didn't have to go through what I went through. And first of all, we never know what people are going through, right, out in the world. But there is, I believe, a subset of light workers that in the ascension life, which if you're watching this, if you're here, it's likely that you're in the ascension life. You intended to really get into the muck and be around that in order to be a light bulb for other souls around you, right? You to just be able to maintain your light just enough in order to give light to those souls around you. And then the last archetype is the guide. The guide is someone that generally works with, and you could be a guide and a leader, you could be a guide and a grid worker, you could be a guide and a shadow worker, but the guide is oftentimes manifests as being a coach, being a psychic, even if you don't have a title, being someone that, people will naturally kind of come to you and ask you for guidance. Let me know in the chat if you're one of those people where your whole life, for whatever reason, people always just kind of asked you, what is your opinion on this? What do you think I should do with this? Right. And you always did have some helpful opinions. And, many times people like that are really drawn to psychic work because it's part of your archetype of what you came here to do as a light worker, is to be a guide for others, to be kind of that angel in human form and be able to see where other people can't, to see, most of us have blind spots when we're trying to, objectively look at our own lives because we're in our own lives. It's hard to objectively look at your own life when you're in it. So as guides, and I feel I'm a guide as well. I feel I'm a leader and a guide. And for me, I really do work, with people's own guides up there, with my own guides up there, with any beings up there that are able to help me see. And I just have the ability to see anyways what's ahead for someone, to be able to feel into and see what their obstacles are, and to be able to feel in and to see, what they need to do to really work around things and to bust through those obstacles. So for me, I feel like that guide archetype as well. And maybe that's you as well, Loren, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, I love these archetypes because there's like little, I think that many would resonate with the fact that we could be more than one, like we hold
Absolutely
more than one. Like, for example, I know guides who go deep into the trenches, the shadow worker.
Yeah.
when they work in a police department, but yet they're holding incredible light.
That's the shadow worker archetype. Yeah.
Or they're
Yeah.
working in a corporation,
Yeah. Yeah.
insurance or gasoline, right? Something like that, where they have a sense of they kind of know that it's kind of not what they really resonate with, but they're
Mhm.
still holding an incredible amount of light.
Right. Holding
Almost like
that light bulb for others. That could be the
they're kind of
quiet
like
grid
a
worker as
quiet,
well.
a
You know?
quiet grid worker, a
Yeah.
quiet grid
Yeah.
worker in the trenches. In
And it's also important to note that a lot of times we shift. So a lot of times you could spend decades as that quiet grid worker where even before you become aware of it, even before you start finding the spiritual material and understanding that, oh, I actually am serving as this light in this corporation, right? Well, and then I don't know, maybe you pass your Saturn return or whatever, or your soul kind of flips on the switch, and then you feel guided to switch to move into being more of a guide. Perhaps maybe you go into shamanic work or psychic work or energy healing work, and it becomes your full-time career, right? So you can transition.
Beautiful. All right. Let's take a caller.
Sure.
Let's do a mini reading based
So
on
if we're going to do readings today, which is fine,
let's move them in and out of our conversation.
yeah, let's weave them in and out. That would be great. Just so it's not too hard on me. And what we'd like to do is have people ask, just for guidance on maybe what archetype they are if they don't know, and kind of where their purpose is leading them if they're not sure, or they can ask specifics around that too.
Okay, Helen, you are up first. You can unmute yourself, Helen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
yes.
Oh, wonderful. Hi, Loren. Hi, Matthew.
Hi there.
I do have to disclose, I have worked with you before, and I'm so excited. Today is my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
When did we work together?
Well, I don't really remember the date, but I've worked with you like twice or three times.
Was it this year or last year?
I think once within the past year, maybe once last year on a private session.
Oh, okay. Okay,
That I
great.
probably got through Loren. So I just wanted to see if maybe you could do a little reading and see if there's information for me, and it's okay if it's around what you're discussing, but just kind of
That's the topic of the call, so we'll keep it to that if that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so just kind of in general, do you feel like you pretty well know your purpose on the planet, or?
Well, no, I don't think I know.
Mhm.
But I am getting ready to start a new little business, and so I'm wondering if that, ties into it at all. And so just curious to see what maybe information you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see what I can pick up. So Helen. Does your business have to do with like selling like things, tangible things?
Yes.
Is it artistic things?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, but it's like items.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, you're on the right path, because I do get that. That was the vision I got. So I'm not surprised that you said yes to that. That you're selling things. Are they like? Is it anything spiritual related?
Well, it's a combination of things and a service. Do you want me to just tell you what it is? I mean, I'm not trying.
If you want,
I'm not trying to hide it, but just kind of wanted to get an idea if I'm on the right track. And
yeah. To me, it does feel like, I mean, even if without you saying, it does feel like you're on the right track, and it's going to evolve more and more. And it's gonna be a line. Is it clothing or something like that?
I'm gonna start selling wigs.
Wigs. Okay, I was close. I said clothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think there's a need, and
Yeah.
it's very hard to find wig stores,
Yeah.
places to go, and so that's why it's both selling things, but I think it's a service that's very much needed.
For sure, for sure. You're absolutely on the right path with it. And in the future though, I do get a vision of you're going to be making and selling more things than just wigs. I actually see you having a like positivity clothing line
Ew.
in the future.
Well, if you knew my age, that sounds a little daunting.
But does it?
Well, because I'm not really looking to get into too much a big career at this stage.
Okay, well, forget what I said. It was just an inspiration that popped through. So
Unless, but if that's where it's supposed to go, then obviously it would be easy because
by the way, selling T-shirts nowadays is you can set it up in 10 minutes. It's a new age. It's not having to make a deal with a factory. Just
Yeah.
T-shirt.
I'm just so old school. I'm not really up on a lot of the
Oh yeah, now it's
the new
so easy.
ways.
Now it's so easy to sell merchandise for anything. So, if for whatever reason that didn't work for you, just discard it. But and I apologize. I'm just doing my best. But
Oh, that's okay.
okay. Well, I really, I get the sense of you being that like quiet grid worker type, and there is that specific niche that you're serving. And and through that, you are, imbuing your light. You're giving your light where that light is needed for people that, need wigs, right? So that is a part of your service work. And then outside of that, it's like, in what ways do you feel that strong connection with spirit? Perhaps it's through animals, perhaps it's through nature, right? And whenever you feel that inspiration, that's a sign that you're doing that grid work.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that connection, that light.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I apologize. You don't sound very satisfied. Is there something I could answer for you that maybe you'd be a little more satisfied?
No, I guess I just,
Okay.
wasn't sure if you were going to do, any readings, or just wanted to see if there was anything that you picked up, any advice or messages from, my guides, or from any spiritual information you may have for me. That's a
It's just the messages are about finding joy and putting it into projects. I just again, if you may not resonate with this, and I apologize if you don't, but I just get the sense that there's this artist in you that hasn't fully come out.
okay. Well, no, I'm
And I do.
open to that. That's where if that's my path, I'm
Okay.
open to it.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Okay. Well, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah, don't. It's all good. It really is. It's fun. It's fun to watch you. Okay, Serafina, you can unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi guys.
Hi
Can you
there.
hear me? Happy Blue Moon week.
Yes, happy blue moon.
Blue moon. Yes.
So I worked with Matthew. I worked with you like right before COVID hit.
Mhm.
And we had talked about how my soul was so restless. I needed to travel and have fun. And then COVID hit. And
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
oh my gosh. So it's been something else, like it has for everybody. But from what you had said, I'm pretty sure I was a shadow worker.
Yes. I
And
remember that.
then started switching over, working with sound and crystals and energy, moving into, but still needed just to have fun and joy. So have not done anything really since COVID. And I was supposed to go to Ireland this week to, I'm waiting for my dual citizenship from Ireland, and I was going to learn Celtic ritual and ceremony out on the land. But last week I got this medical diagnosis of severe carotid artery disease, which like means I could have a heart attack or a stroke any second. So I'm putting it off so I started Ayurvedic and some other things, but I guess I'm just curious about, like, is this part of releasing so I can move it?
The releasing is around, it's pain, grief, loneliness. It's all the stuff that gets stored in the heart.
Mm-hmm. Right. Heartbreak. That's what it was like,
Right.
heartbreak. And so now I'm pissed off about it. And so I need to release that. Do
you have trouble like accessing sadness? Like, is it harder for you to get is it easier for you to get angry than to cry?
Yes, it always has been.
Right. And so then what happens is it just congest the heart chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to, as part of your ascension process, is you have to learn how to, to manage to work with your emotions and to feel them fully, including sadness, including grief. So you just got to cry it out, cry it out, cry it out, cry it out. As uncomfortable as that is, put on sad music. But you got to also, we're physical beings. So because it's so advanced, you got to really go hard with the physical healing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go hard with the physical healing.
You mean movement or?
Yeah, both. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you said you're doing Ayurvedic.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So you go hard with that. Really, the only, diet that is proven to always reverse heart disease is the vegan diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do that if I were you, and because now you have no choice,
Yeah. Well, I've been doing somatic therapy work for a year, so I've been releasing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know whether to just keep on doing what I'm doing or I don't know if I need to shake it up or, go, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it would be smart to travel to another country right now. And, that would that be more stressful,
That would be I would say where you're at, and
Okay.
and you just got to keep working on your health. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
Okay.
Now I still do see you as that shadow worker. I do believe that is your archetype, is the shadow worker and the guide, your guide for others.
Mm-hmm.
And through this process, you're going to heal, and through this process, you're going to touch a lot of other people in a beautiful way. So set yourself up while you're healing to once in a while be able to work with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help you heal too.
Okay.
That'll help you heal too. Your soul wants you to go all the way in this life. It's just that you haven't, to be kind of blunt, you haven't gone intensely enough.
Mm-hmm.
You've skirted a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, now you get the wake-up call that you have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have no other choice. And a lot of us do better with our back up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I got the sense that through this healing process, that could be my divine path of
It
helping.
is. Yeah, it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Okay.
It absolutely is. Hope that helps.
Yeah.
If I can be of service to you, I have two wonderful options as far as packages. Option 2 has 2 private readings with me. And there's a 2 payment option on that. So that, that's got my ascending is 1. We're doing 8 wonderful classes over the next 2 months. Wonderful group, wonderfully supportive people from around the world, and myself leading the group, and 2 private sessions with me. So if I could be of support for you, I would really recommend package 2.
Okay. Thank you. I feel encouraged. I do.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Beautiful. Thank you, Serafina.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because I was going to say, Matthew, you've got a beautiful program. I put the link in the chat box, by the way, for the special offer, and I think it's a great time to mention that because you have a 2-hour workshop that talks about becoming the spiritual entrepreneur as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's very relevant for today's call. It's actually 3 hours. That is geared towards people that, maybe you feel like you are the leader archetype, maybe you feel like you are that guide archetype, right? Or even the shadow worker, but you want to create it into a business, right? A full-time business. So this is for people who want to do a full-time business, which is an incredible undertaking, but I've been able to do it. Loren's been able to do it. So I drop all of my secrets as far as the energetic side of things, but also the 3D side of things, little tips around promoting yourself and, getting yourself seen in, a very crowded online space. So that is included in both packages. Now, my Ascending is One program, we're coming up on a 1-year anniversary of the Ascending is One program. This was something that I felt inspired to do. My whole career had been working one-on-one, kind of more as that guide archetype with people. Last year, after a big change in my life, I really felt inspired. I wanted to do something different. And so I, had this download to create this program called Ascending is One. And it became a thing. And we're coming up on a year of it. It's been incredibly successful. It's amazing that just through the group work, the types of healings people have had along the way have been astounding. Just as good as in my one-on-one work, I would say, in a lot of cases. And it's a great group. You'll meet people from around the world. There's a Telegram group to stay in touch with people in between calls. So coming up, the calls are on Sundays. They're live and they're also recorded. If you miss the live calls, they're 3-hour calls. We do astrology work in the first segment. So I go over the planetary configurations for every day for the week to come. And then after we do the astrology work, we'll go into the topic for the day. And then I'll end with some EFT tapping. People love the tapping. And then I'll do some readings at the end of each call. So just briefly, September, we've got Tarot Basics, The Illusion of Ego, which is a program I downloaded of dissolving the 12 false aspects of ego that we all carry, healing your relationships, okay? And then October 1st, healing your root chakra, October 8th, how to do grounding, and October 15th, how to use a pendulum. So package A, offer 1, you get those 6 calls. Offer 2, you get 2 bonus calls. You get the VIP calls where I do my Syrian channeling segment in both in September and October. I do the Syrian channeling in conjunction with our autumn equinox celebration right around the autumn equinox. And then we also have a VIP call in October where I'll do Syrian channeling as well. And you can talk to the Syrians. If you've never seen me do trance channeling before, it's really fun. And you can actually ask questions from the Syrians. And both packages also include a whole library of my recorded work. Offer 1 is 9 recorded webinars. So it's about, 22 hours of recorded content. Package B is 20 recorded webinars. So it's crazy. It's about like 45 hours of recorded content as bonuses. And offer 2, you get those 2 private readings with me. 2 private readings, one in September, one in October. So they're both great deals, and there's a 2 payment option on both.
Yes, yes, yes. Beautiful. Again, I just want to add that these are full of really rich content, and you were so generous with making that available. I mean, this is really your mission work, and it's all been recorded, and it's so
Yep.
beautiful. This huge repertoire that you have now,
Yep.
and you're really making great strides in helping others step into their roles and to feel confident in their own skin, their own training, their own development of their gifts. So
Yep.
that is all there and available. Thank you for that. And in a moment, we will talk more about another program that another annual program that Matthew has. It's a comprehensive tarot card
Sure.
reading.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go to another reading while we can. And this time it's Susan. And I believe this is Susan's husband, Susan. Hi, Susan. You can
Hi.
unmute.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, my husband helps me with the computer because I'm sight challenged.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
wondering, with my sight challenge right now, is this part of my path work right now for me?
Yes, because there's
What is the purpose of it?
yeah, I know. It's
It's
really
horrible.
tough. Yeah.
Yeah, you get my point?
Hold on, let me just feel into it.
Yes, it's been challenging.
Let me feel into it. There was a life, you were in the military. You were blinded by some sort of bomb.
Mhm.
Your soul wanted to create this life where instead of seeing the horrors of the world, you would be blind to them, and you'd have to get in touch with the inner world, because in that military life, you completely ignored your emotions your whole life and just basically plugged them with drugs and alcohol. You're a man. This was in the 20th century. Maybe could have been like World War I. It was early 20th century.
Wow.
And then in this life, you're meant to get in touch with the emotional side of things, and the that crown chakra connection is supposed to open fully in this life. That crown chakra connection. So it's there's a guide. There's a male guide from some life where it was, I'm trying to pinpoint where this was. It might have been in Scotland, but it was some life where you were like kind of on a spiritual path, and he was your mentor.
Okay.
And there's this guide. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing that up is because you have the opportunity to actually trans channel in this life if you haven't already. You really are. There's this talent. There's a lot of psychic talents in you that I don't know if they've fully come out yet.
They have been coming out. I've been seeing, I call it my ocular migraines. Maybe that's the wrong thing. I don't know. I've been having them the last couple of days again, where I see colors, orbs, floating objects, all kind of stuff. And I kind of get the feeling that's like the angels and different beings are channeling me.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong in that. This happens every so often. And it's like, okay, right now I'm doing energy work with the Aturians.
Yeah.
and people
Yeah. So
have
you
been
are doing
coming
it.
to
You
me.
are. Yeah. You are doing it.
I have different ones coming to me at night where I kind of see them now, wherever they are.
Mhm.
They're all different ones. But will the eyesight, I'm trying to physically now help the eyesight. I've been doing the energy work with it, but now I'm physically trying to repair it.
Yeah, you're gonna have some success with it. Um,
Oh, I hope so.
I one thing I will just say that because you're an Arcturian starseed, and Arcturian starseeds do,
Am I really?
yeah, do
Oh, I didn't
work.
know that was a Turian. Okay.
It's at least a part. It's a part, I would say, um, of your let's see. I'll spend an extra minute with you because I really want to help. Let's see. Where do I
Okay,
see
thank you. I
this?
appreciate that.
You're
It's very
welcome.
kind of you.
Uh, Arcturian Orion. Yeah, that's there's definitely a strong Arcturian component. And the Arcturians are, excuse me, the technology, the Arcturian starseeds are the bringers of technology, right? Innovators.
Uh-huh.
You are that innovator archetype. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to work with like technology. So there's all this wonderful new age technology, like I mentioned, that guy Jason Shurka, for example, right, that
Uh-huh.
are helping people. But even technology that's coming from the more traditional Western medical routes that are, for example, for your case, like helping people to see, don't discount like anything. Like, it's okay if you end up also working with technology that is from the medical industry. But I do see we're all gonna be amazed, and over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years,
Uh-huh.
it's gonna be exponential, the medical technology that becomes available, both from Western medicine and from the more alternative side of things.
Right. Right.
And there's going to be a lot of technology that will be able to help people like you. I'm sure of it. So keep up the looking ahead and the hope, because you will. And in the meantime, you need to continue to not need to, but I would advise continuing to develop your abilities as that trans channel. Look into this one guide that I picked up from some more like, I don't know, like pagan sort of life. Again, I think in like Scotland or something. Guy seems like a C name or something. Excuse me.
You're the second one now who told me about a guide. His initials are CH, but he will not give his name.
Well, that's probably the same guy, because that's what I got. I got,
Why
so
won't he tell me who he is?
I don't know. Anyways, maybe I think he's from Scotland, so
Okay.
maybe that helps. I don't know.
Oh,
But you're a wonderful trans channeler, and you're definitely that innovator archetype. And after you're able to start seeing better, then what happens is you're going to have a community of people that are also blind or vision impaired that you help with the spiritual and the pointing them in the direction of what therapies. Okay. So
okay.
that's your like work. That's your service work. You are that innovator.
Well, thank you. You've answered a very important question.
Yeah.
Though.
And
Losing the hope.
No, please don't. And I would really love for you and your husband, you can, just pay once and you both can join if you want. Join My Ascending is one program. Either tier, you get the group calls. Tier 2, option 2, you get the one-on-ones with me, because just to have that support, that community is so wonderful. And we meet every Sunday. It's just such a wonderful community, and we'll talk about astrology, and we'll do tarot, and and I'll teach you all I can teach. So
Oh,
I would highly recommend those.
thank you, and blessings to you and good
Oh,
health.
blessings to you.
Thank you. You've answered a lot of questions that were really nagging at me. And thank you,
Good.
Lorraine, for picking me. It was divine time, I guess.
It
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Thank you to the both of you. I mean, just wholehearted thanks.
Thank
And
you.
I'm very grateful for everything you have done.
Aw, thank you.
And my
Thank
husband, like I said, I'm grateful for him. He's been helping me through this journey. So I guess we're both learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's
Yeah.
just a godsend, as I always tell him.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Blessings. Blessings.
Good team.
Blessings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Beautiful. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, this would be a good time now to actually talking about tarot. Tell us about your tarot course.
So, if anyone is interested in learning the tarot, if you think it might be cool to be able to go to a dinner party or to go to a picnic and be able to pull out your tarot cards and be like, hey, look, I can actually read your future. It is such a cool tool to have. So once a year, I teach my comprehensive tarot reading course. I believe, and I guess me being the Leo rising, that it's it is the best tarot course out there, because I believe it's the most in-depth. I put together 13 classes. They're all live on Zoom, just like we are now, and they're 2.5 hour plus classes. So I go absolutely in depth into every possible corner and every possible symbol of every card in the tarot. And I guarantee you, it's my guarantee, by the end of the course, you will be able to read the tarot as long as you stick with the course and finish the course. I give a certification of completion, showing the number of hours of study. You get a free 45-minute reading with me. And we're doing a 20% discount for it, 20% discount for NEO people, which is you, if you're watching this or you're finding this through the NEO or Acoustic Health websites, 20% off, 20% off. So join in. It starts September 16th. All the calls are at 5 p.m. New York time on Saturdays, but you can go ahead and excuse me, you can download the recording if you miss the calls. So tarot is and the other thing is that you will get an introductory class to tarot if you join in on Ascending as One, which is the options we have for the special offer packages. And that is on September 10th, the Tarot Basics. So if you feel inspired on that, you might decide to jump in for the whole course. Or if you're ready to go, sign up right now and you can get started. There are specific reading materials that you can get started with if you want to get a head start on the course. Once you sign up, I'll let you know which book we use to navigate the course. And I just want to read from Gail. Gail says, Ascending as One group calls are great. They are packed with so much info. If time permits, at the end of each call, Matthew gives readings to anyone on the call. Matthew is the teacher archetype. Thanks, Lauren, for inviting Matthew to this call. Thank you, Gail. And Gail, I think she started in August. So I think you just started, Gail, right? So thank you for the kind words about that. I appreciate that.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, we have time for one or two. Or
yeah. And I also want to talk about shortcuts to kind of understanding the more specifics of your service work.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, and maybe if there were moments at the beginning that weren't super clear, so be it. It's Mercury retrograde. I'm doing my best, but the service work archetypes are kind of general archetypes of how I probably should have started by defining service work itself. When I'm talking about service work, I am referring to the general, like if you're a starseed. So, Loren, you're a starseed, I'm a starseed. Let us know in the chat if you think you might be a starseed, right? If you're a starseed, then it literally would be the extraterrestrial version of self, my Sirian self, right? For example, wanted to bring this type of energy, this type of contribution energetic contribution to my ascension life, which is where I find myself in now. Again, if you're on this call, it's very likely you are in that ascension life, right? Even if you're not a starseed, even if you were, there are some light workers that are from the earth, came up through the animal kingdom, right? And evolved into humans. It would be your soul. Your soul says, this in my ascension life, where you would likewise be, is the contribution I want to create. So it's the general energetic contribution, those 6 archetypes: the quiet grid worker, the traveling grid worker, the guide, the leader, the innovator, the shadow work. And again, you could be a number of them, and you can move from one to the other throughout your life, right? But when finding, a lot of people obviously have more specific questions about purpose. Okay, what is my career supposed to be, right? What is my career supposed to be? Or what is the most aligned career? Who am I supposed to help, right? Who am I supposed to be of service to? How is that supposed to manifest? How is that supposed to unfold, right? So there are a couple shortcuts that I found throughout my years of study, and they all relate to astrology, which is one of the plethora of reasons why I adore astrology so much. It's such a good friend, and why I teach it every week on these Ascending as One calls, is because there's a couple places we can look. So let us know in the chat if you know where your North Node is. And a lot of people are saying, yes, they believe they're a starseed. Yes, they believe they're a starseed. Arcturian, yep, Pat, we know. Lyra, Christine, yep. Gail says starseed, yep. So if you know your North Node, the North Node is a great place to look in the chart. And if you're not sure, purchase that option 2 so you can get those private readings with me, because I will look into your natal chart and I'll tell you all about this stuff. But for example, if you're a North Node in Scorpio, part of your purpose in this life might be in activating those psychic or energy healing skills. It might be in activating parts of the consciousness that are, not common, those 6 senses, right? If you're a North Node Pisces, art or crafting things, right, might be a big part of what you're meant to do here. If you're a North Node in Libra, it might be fighting for justice, right? The other places we can look is which house does your North Node fall in? If your North Node falls in your first house, it's an indelible part of who you are. Your mission on the planet is such a part of who you are in the day-to-day, right? And you learn something early in life about that. If it's in your 4th house, most of the lessons come around the home and the family relationships, so on and so forth. So getting a chart reading from me can be incredibly helpful. And I do that in those private calls, which you get with option 2. And also we can look at your Saturn. Saturn can give us a good indication of your service work. We can look at your Mars placement. We can look at your midheaven. Your midheaven or the cusp of your 10th house will determine more specifically the actual jobs you end up in, while the North Node is kind of more of the overall, okay, what are you trying to learn? We can also look at numerology. And numerology, like Loren, you mentioned earlier, you're a life path 1, I'm a life path 1. That is the leader archetype in and of itself. But what if you're a life path 3 and you're more that communicator and you're that, you're meant to be creative. You might be more of that innovator archetype, right? Or if you're life path 9 and you're that selfless humanitarian archetype, right? And you might be more of that quiet grid worker or the traveling grid worker or the shadow worker. So understanding your astrology and numerology can be incredibly, incredibly helpful. It is the shortcut, and I can absolutely read that for you. So if you're wondering if you've always maybe wanted to get a chart reading, or if you've always wanted me to do a chart reading, this is the best opportunity, the best prices. Get that offer too, so you get those 2 private sessions with me. Gail says, excuse me. Gail says North Node Virgo. North Node and Virgo people, you have to learn in this life to get organized, focused. A lot of times you'll actually end up working in more traditional fields because you're coming from lifetimes before of being more of the vagabond or more of the kind of disconnected from the everyday societal norms. North Node of Virgo, Lorenzo as well. Okay. Yeah. Aquarius North Node. So Aquarius North Node, your life mission revolves around creating community, creating community. So you may be, more that leader archetype, or it may just be about integrating with community. And you may find yourself like, a lot of times Aquarian North Node people find themselves moving from a religion, maybe trying to get out of religion, or finding like specific spiritual paths, spiritual groups, even spiritual devotions, like I mentioned before, that really align with them. But let me look at your chart again. Do that offer too, and I'll give you much more details.
Okay, great. I want to just say these offers are very well priced. They're quite a gift. And if you check them out, you'll see that you're getting a boatload of content, and those readings with Matthew for clarity are very helpful. And again, we want to make this easy for you. So again, there's that 2 payment plan. Beautiful. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. I think we have time for one more, maybe more, but let's go to Jean.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh.
Hi.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Hi, Jean. It's nice to meet you.
The pleasure is definitely on this end.
Wonderful. It could be on both ends. It's okay.
I'm one of those that you described in the beginning. I have no clue. So I guess the question would be, what is my divine purpose on the planet?
Mm-hmm.
I have an idea as far as the archetype, but
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of a combination of
Yeah.
the quiet grid worker,
That's what I
and
thought you were gonna say. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guide.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm picking up? It's the shamanic work for you. It's the shamanic work, and it's the crystal work. It's crystals. Yeah. Have you worked with crystals a lot?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
A long time ago, a good friend kept saying, you just seem to have a deep connection in being able to pick the proper crystal for the proper purpose. And over the years, I've seen that he was very accurate about that.
Yeah, and that's it's a very Syrian thing as well. So let's see, any specifics? So crystal gridding is like, if you haven't already, I would suggest like holding like crystal gridding, like group ceremonies, where people, gather, whether it's online or in person, and grid together for world peace, or for ascension, or for that would be a wonderful, wonderful way. You do kind of have more a little bit of that leader archetype too, but it's not meant to be, super public. It's meant to be more working with groups, especially in person, ultimately. I could see you like leading different shamanic walks, and even retreats.
Okay. Sort of like maybe even labyrinths.
Yes. I just had a retreat a couple weeks ago at Light on the Hill in New York, and yeah, we worked with the labyrinths. Oh my God, so powerful to work with labyrinths. Really is.
Yeah, always loved labyrinths and mazes.
Yeah. Building them too.
Oh, okay. Hadn't
Building
thought
them.
about that.
Just an inspiration. Do you like hiking?
Yes, I do.
Let me give you a perfect way to serve as that quiet grid worker archetype while hiking. You're probably going to know what I'm going to say. Make a little labyrinth out of stones and leave it.
Ooh, okay.
Right? Somewhere along the trail. Right? Why not? that sort of stuff. I love when, it's like when you go hiking, you see all the cairns that people have made,
Mhm.
But labyrinths, why not? They can be simple, just little tiny ones, right?
The
But
gift that keeps giving.
exactly. Yeah, but anything along the lines of the crystals, the gridding, the labyrinths, the shaman work, small groups, and like when if you lead groups, do it always in nature if you can. You can also do online stuff, but the real powerful work will be in nature with groups.
And if you have an extra moment, am I a starseed? I have
Yes,
idea.
no, that's what I meant when I said Syrian.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got that Syrian, and then you've also got let's see. I'm trying to put my finger on it. There's another one. I'm sure you're Syrian. There's another one. I can't put my finger on it right now, but if we do, if you decide to do the packages, we can certainly dig in much further. But I'm sure you're Syrian. I'm sure you're Syrian.
That works. I appreciate it.
Sure you're Syrian. Yeah, there's something else though. It's just I can't pick up the name, but I can just get the sense of another group. They're in the Milky Way somewhere, and it's not the Arcturians, but it's another group that very much uses like sacred geometry.
Another interest of mine.
Yeah. So
this is awesome.
Well, I again, check out the packages. Not only do you get to join in with the Ascending as One group, you'll learn a lot, but if you do offer to, you can get those 2 private readings with me.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I appreciate Loren for having you on, and all the people that she has on other webinars. Great information. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Thank you. I find it so wonderful, Matthew, how you can pick up on or how people you're picking up and helping people understand what they already know about themselves. You're confirming, you're validating what they already know about themselves. I find that uncanny, and it's so beautiful to watch. It really is.
Yeah, and sometimes just opening up doorways that people weren't sure of, or they weren't. Sometimes there are things people aren't aware of. And I'll open it up, and then they might even at first be like, oh, I don't think that really resonates, and then they'll come back to me a year later, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right. So it does sometimes happen like that too, where sometimes as that guide archetype, as those seers were able to open doors, just kind of prop open doors so the person can then fully push the door open, essentially.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I think we have time for one more. Are you up for it?
Yeah, we can do one more.
All right. We're going to Denise. Hi, Denise. You can unmute and say hello. Denise.
Am I unmuted?
Hi, yes.
Yay, I was hoping you'd call on me. Matthew, I've never worked with you personally, but have worked with your teachings and so much
great.
of the wonderful things you do.
Oh, wonderful.
This call has gotten my inspiration juices flowing. I've always been 43 years in medical trade shows selling healing things, actually, massage chairs, beds, tables, a bunch of years teaching skiing in Santa Fe and Sun Valley. Then I was hit by a racer, 5.5 years of 6 injuries, 7 surgeries. I've got it through it. I fought my way through it. I'm still fighting with lawyers and all that, but I'm feeling like, everything's functioning to now. And I'm just feeling like there's some inspiration that I'd like to, I'm almost 70. I'm not looking for a career, but to redirect my energies, because my body is very different now. And ready to fly. Any any information that's coming through that might be helpful?
It's yeah, what I'm picking up is energy healing technology that's coming from the stars, coming from above us. So
Holding my selenite tower in my right hand.
yeah,
Holding
see
my
what you can
phone in my
receive now.
left.
No, but it's the Arcturians, the Pleiadians, working with so remote energy healing work, remote work.
Right.
Become and you really have the opportunity to really become a master at that. The Pleiadian, there's a book that I really love called the Pleiadian Perspectives on Human Evolution, by Amora Kuan Yin, and the techniques in there. I mean, this is from the 90s, but they're timeless. They were downloaded from the Pleiadians. I think of those as like they're these wonderful energy healing techniques that are all done through using the third eye. And they're very powerful, very, very powerful. So it's whatever it is, it's working with the mantis beings as well. I would work with the mantis. I think you've got some mantis starseed in you as well. So it's working with the galactics, working with the galactics.
So there's more fun to come, right?
Yes, much more fun to come. Much more fun to come. The Blue Avians as well, the Blue Avians as well, another group to work with. But see who you can work with and like channeling through light language, and then just like doing energy healing using colors. You connect using different angels and ascended masters and the galactics and their energy. Yeah.
So I don't have to use my body that doesn't work like it did for active outdoor lifestyle things. I can use the inner teachings to.
Well, but see, the irony is that you wouldn't have gotten there if not for the accident.
Well, that's a positive. I see what you're saying.
That's how the soul plans things out. Excuse me. That's how the soul plans things out. Exactly like that.
So it's okay.
It's okay. It's meant to be. It's meant to be. But the irony is, your body may improve over time.
That sounds good. That sounds like a wonderful note to end on. Thank you so much, Matthew.
Thank you. And I would love to be able to give you more information. We could dig into, because I'm sure there's past life connections with what happened and soul contracts involved. And that's the type of work I can do in the private readings if you pick up offer two.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Look forward to that. Thank you, Loren. Much love.
Thank you, Denise. Oh, awesome. All right. Take
Very
care. sweetheart.
inspiring. Thank you so
Good.
much. Big hugs.
Big hugs.
Mwah.
Beautiful. Wow. All right. So again, it's really fun to watch you work, Matthew. And again, we're going to direct everyone watching and listening to check out your special offer. It's in the link in the description box of wherever you're watching or listening to this video. And of course, there's a link to it right on the webpage. If you're on Zoom with us, you'll find it in the Zoom. Thank you, Matthew. Again, it really is wonderful when people step in and recognize their divine work on the planet. And it really is that passion which we have within us. And many of us are so close to realizing it, but it's just wonderful to have extra facilitators give us the validation of that.
Right. Ultimately, it's all within us. And it's important to understand that we're all doing it all the time. And the reason I download these archetypes was, I don't know, my guide thought it would be an interesting thing to present. So, but also it helps because the mind always wants to try to categorize things, explain things, right? Understand things in its own terms. So it can be helpful to kind of say, oh yeah, I'm kind of, that resonates with me, that resonates with me, that resonates with me. But ultimately, we are always, there's some purpose always to what we're doing. And there's a purpose that's really coming from a very high place, because we're all contributing to this planetary ascension process. So if you're here during this ascension time, and if you're awake, and just by being here, in this community on New Earth One, you're very awake. And by being here, this is absolute confirmation that you are already doing the work. Think of the little ways, maybe you recycle, maybe you're friendly with your neighbors, maybe you're friendly with your mother, maybe you're friendly, with your coworkers. Maybe you are praying for the recovery of Maui. Maybe you're praying for the recovery of other people. Maybe you are, being kind with animals, whatever little ways, it's all contributing. We're all connected. We're all one. We're all connected in a field of consciousness, and we're all, contributing whether we know it or not. So as long as your intentions are positive for the planet, you are contributing. But a lot of times there are like actual specific projects and specific things and specific kind of groups of people that you're meant to work with. And that's when it's fun to start to identify more of the specifics of your service work.
Beautiful. Yes. All right. So enjoy this journey, everyone. And if you would like a session with Matthew John, again, you can get that in option 2. And be sure to check out all the wonderful courses that he offers, the Ascending as One groups, and all of the recorded webinars that he's got.
It's all included. You get Ascending as One, the recorded webinars. And if you do option 2, you get those. And don't forget the Syrian channeling as well. You get to join in on that. If you want to watch me trans-channel the group of 5 Syrian extraterrestrials, that's a lot of fun. And you get the private sessions.
The private sessions and, the immediate downloads of courses that you've taught, so people can join and start that wisdom right away. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for having the curiosity of your own divine service work and for sharing with us today. Thank you for sharing your light. Get ready to go out into the world and share your love. It really is just a return to love. Doing what we love is the path of New Earth. Matthew John, as we say goodbye, I just give you a moment for final thoughts. Thank you.
Yeah, we're coming up on an important time on the planet. We're coming up on won't be too far away, the next eclipse season. But until then, we have all these planets retrograde. So it's a time, we're coming up on 7 retrograde planets now. It's crazy. So it's a time for more introspection. It's a time for more, it's kind of energetic preparation for the upcoming eclipse season in October. But it's a time to self-evaluate and see, where we need to get more focused, right? What we need to let go of, what is distracting, that it is not necessary for us anymore. So as we kind of refine, and that's what Virgo season is about, refining, cleaning up clutter. It's a great, idea to clean your house if you can, or clean your car, or clean your room during Virgo season. And then also, as we're on this Pisces full moon, embracing creativity. The best, thing you could do is to do something creative, whether it's painting or whether it's knitting or whether it's, anything, I don't know, anything creative, artistic around this Pisces full moon. So it's an interesting time as we navigate Mercury retrograde, all the retrogrades, and then up until won't be too far away, the next eclipse season in October.
Yes, it's weeks away.
Yeah.
So happy journeying, everyone. Happy labyrinth making, crystal grid making, book writing.
Yeah.
Painting,
Yeah. Yeah.
new
Yeah.
projects. Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. Matthew John, thank you
All
so
right.
much. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Okay.
Love you.
Blessings.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this quantum conversation, and thank you for dancing with us to the cosmic heart. As we raise our own vibration, we raise the vibration of the planet. This show is dedicated to you and all awakening hearts as we are here to shine our bright light and amplify our love. Access all quantum conversations, special offers from our guests, and online healing retreats by visiting acoustichealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and from my sacred heart to yours, I honor your magnificent love and light. We leave you now with music from the universe. Music literally created by the universe as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music available at acoustichealth.com. Namaste.